Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. My pleasure to bring you Slayers MMA, currently at one game in this best-of-3 series in the winners bracket round 1 of the MLG Spring Arena 2. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the northwest versus his opponent, the one and only SKMC, currently playing from behind, but still a force to be reckoned with. He is in the blue trunks, playing Protoss to the southeast.
And MC just has buckets and buckets of experience. He's been in this position many, many times before, and he's recovered many times before as well. MMA, though, is just a natural winner. There's actually nothing else to describe him. He's a winner. He's a pure and simple winner here. Definitely looking potentially to replace and follow in the footsteps of Marine King Prime in the first two events of 2012 here. Is he going to be the Terran player to do that? Is he going to go the distance, face Don Regu in the finals? Well, he's got to go through MC first and a lot of other players.
That he does. He had a flying start by winning the Iron Squid tournament, which was, of course, the tournament in Paris, and it was absolutely incredible. That lineup was ridiculous. He had to fight his way through hard. The funny thing is, the only Protoss who he actually ended up facing in that particular tournament in his group was Mana, who he actually lost to.
Indeed he did. Shows a little bit of weakness, but he says he's confident in Terran versus Protoss now, and we see Gasless again from MMA. MC throwing down 13 gateway, looking to use just a 13 gateway, triple chrono boost into the Nexus, just start that economy nice and strong. Doesn't really want to do any early aggression. There's no need if you try one kind of 3 gates before expanding. It's a very big gamble. But are we going to see the MC trademark gateway pressure after expanding on a map like Shakur's Plateau? Not really. It's a very defendable ramp. It's very easy to hold a bunker, and it's very filtered for the Protoss units to climb up through. MMA though still gasless, so definitely one barracks expand here. Could even see triple command center from MMA. He's not, he's actually shown it many times before.
Very much. Like, you've got two things to consider. One, Shakur's Plateau. Two, a Slayer's Terran. Yes, it's very, very likely that we could see that happen. It's becoming more and more popular in Korea. It's a great greedy build if you think you can pull it off. Admittedly, MC is one of those players who can shut it down even on difficult maps like this.
And unlike the first map, the probe gets in, sees gasless style, so that's actually really good news for MC. It's a little bit more difficult mentally to play against the unseen, basically, but this time he knows exactly what to do. He actually has a second gas down pretty damn early here.
He does.
I mean, he's in it with all 3. It could be for tech, but most likely it's just going to be to build up the sentry count. Could use that sentry count to play defensively, take a fast third base, depending on how he wants to play. Could even be to pressure with that gateway, pressure build after expanding here.
Yeah, it could be. I would just love to see MC just go for the greed, really. And obviously he didn't go Nexus first, not really an option, but he could decide to just expand, really get his economy rolling, and then meet MMA on his own terms in that regard, because we're not going to be seeing any pressure from MMA anytime soon.
MMA's actually taking double gases this time before the barracks, as we see. So he's actually saying, hey guys, I'm actually going to tech up really damn fast here, but with the second barracks coming down, this could be for a couple of things. It could be for very early upgrades, or it could actually be for very, very early stim into combat shields. So, and actually, I was going to bring up this thing too, is that tank play has become one of MMA's builds that he uses consistently here. Not really going into a third base here, but more of a marine tank push. And that could be very difficult, especially with the filtered natural that, of course, both of these players do have. MC, Nexus down, but a Twilight Council behind it.
With a map like this, it smells like Blink Stalker to me. It could be for any number of things, but this is an absolutely fantastic map for Blink Stalker Harass.
I'm pretty sure it's DTs, so I mean, he hasn't got a Stalker count, he hasn't got the Gateway count either.
That's true.
If he gets the Twilight Council now, researches Blink now, he doesn't have the capability to build units. So definitely looks like a DT build here. Really just testing it, saying, MMA, are your timing, personal timing is good enough to hold a DT rush? And that's what we're going to see here, most likely.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? Only 2 guests taken so far. Needless to say, the expansion did come down a little bit late, and there's the Dark Templar Shrine. A sneaky little maneuver here to open up for SKMC. Can MMA handle that? If he is going for this big, focused economic build, and he doesn't have any information, which is very, very true, then how is he going to handle it? Interestingly enough, there's also, I don't know, I mean, a scan landing in the center of this is going to spot everything here. It's going to see the robotics facility, it's going to see the Dark Shrine.
Yeah, but is he going to scan, though? Because MMA has a determined build. He actually sent a Marine to the natural and saw the expansion down. He saw 2 sentries of Zealot. I don't even think he's going to scan. I think he's just going to dedicate his economy to what his strategy is, and it's this little 2-base Marine tank push coming out of him. And, you know, if MMA is going to be the player that we all think he is and we all know he is, and he's not going to bank up energy, he's going to use him consistently, this play from MC here is going to be amazing.
It's going to be a hell of a hard to hold, I'll tell you that for a fact. If MMA is caught with no energy whatsoever, then there's really nothing you can actually do about that at all. Doesn't even have down a single missile turret, has no engineering bay for that. Very focused build, only building exactly what the build order says, and no variation on that at all. And this looks like it could very well be the perfect counter.
And MMA does have a wall off, though, on his natural. That's actually very important here. But there's a warp prism out, so even if he goes up and sees it, he can easily just pick up and drop in the main base and still get the DTs and warp in more DTs behind it. Here's the push coming at the same time here. MC scanning information because he went for DTs. He doesn't have an observer out yet. He doesn't know about this. He will see it very shortly, but he actually has to dedicate DTs to defend rather than just full-out aggression.
Yeah, and that's going to limit the amount of damage that MC can actually do here. He does force every single SCV to be immediately pulled off the mineral line, but MMA continuing to push forward with that.
He didn't warp in DTs to defend. He warped in 2 more aggressively, and now doesn't have enough gas. He's going to have to hold off with force fields here, otherwise he could just lose straight up.
Yeah, force fields go down, and they were not perfect, which is very surprising there for MC actually having to spend 4 force fields, and he really can't afford to do that.
And on the natural, MMA's actually walled himself onto the natural. MC
so
can't
smart.
break down, a scan lands and kills 2 DTs. MMA's got this. He's building the turret with his tanks here, but the scan kills both of DTs. The turret survives. MMA in a perfect position to clean this up 2-0.
This is astonishing right now. We've even got a missile turret coming down at the front to see any more DTs coming in. Here come the force fields, but to what end? All they seem to do is corral the probes into a firing line, and they get gunned down without mercy from MMA, who is already smashing apart the economy of MC.
Oh, he's done a lot of damage here. Probes killed 24, but there were 6 SCV kills in the background, so it's not drastically in favor, but it still is in favor of MMA, and MC will clean this up just about. But there's still a decent amount of tanks. MMA still deeply in the game, but MC took a big hit. MMA just has to clean up the DTs in the main base, and then he's actually going to be in a good location, but still taking damage, as you can see on our second observer screen from those. MMA pushing out with Immortals now.
Yeah, MC's Immortals now are rolling out. It's absolutely fantastic, of course, to deal with the tanks. We're not seeing too many tanks coming in from there. That single DT is proving to be a nightmare for MMA because he cannot mine from this position. That's absolutely huge. That was a fully saturated mineral line that he's losing.
And, you know, we didn't actually see it on the screen, but we actually did see the Warp Prism go down. He's actually rebuilding another one. If that Warp Prism had survived, it would have been amazing for MC, who's now cornered. Scan will probably go down to eliminate that final DT, and now MMA's, free to go. Key, though, is that MC actually scouted the 3rd command center coming down.
Yeah.
So now he knows, all right, well, my opponent's going for that. I can actually go for a bust. And on the natural now, we see double gateways coming down with Immortals and Zealot charged down. This will put him at 5 gateways and a robotics facility. But no, the Temple Archives coming down with an additional gateway too, really ramping up that production. But with tanks, it's actually very difficult to bust here.
It is very much so, but I would like to point out just how well MC has done in terms of his economy. You might think, oh, well, losing 24 probes is a disaster. It actually wasn't. Up until right now, we had MMA sinking to 600 income over the course of a couple of minutes. MMA has actually lost a hell of a lot of mining time, a huge amount, which has allowed MC to really surge ahead and start to get the supply lead.
Yeah, and also Chronoboost just using on the Nexus consistently really rebuilt those probes, but it does delay his tech, it delays his upgrades, as Chronoboost ideally should have been spent there. So as you can see in the production tab and on screen now, the 3rd base is coming down immediately, spotted by MMA. MMA now has naturally opened up a bit of a timing himself now with Stim soon to finish, is that he could look to punish this. He knows now that if MC is going to get back into this game, he has to use Chrono Boost, which we just said is not in upgrades. It's not in anything that can really hold on to a solid push here.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? And MMA just stuck at the moment, needs to try and break himself out of this position. Right now, it's very difficult for his opponent to smash, but it limits him somewhat. MC can, needless to say, try and expand again after this. We've got more barracks coming down for MMA, and there's the swap over here to start to pump that medevac count to get him the mobility he needs to start pulling MC apart, who is in this 3-base position, which makes him particularly vulnerable to drops.
Yeah, and MC's pretty much, MC's able to catch any kind of push though. So even though MMA wants to do damage, he also knows that his opponent is ready to catch anything. He doesn't have any map control, he doesn't see anything. And MC's pretty much set up to do that very thing. He has Storm research now. There's no Ghost Academy down either we have to keep in consideration. And with this 3rd base soon to be saturated for MC, he's kind of gone from falling behind to taking the lead in this game, of course, through the DT, and as you said, the loss of mining time. MMA, though, did take big investments. He couldn't really do anything because he didn't have the production available. He's double upgrading, so he wants to do damage, but not immediately, and it will be alongside these 2-2 upgrades as his production is now kicking in. But that's given MC a lot of room to breathe.
Now, MC trying to deny that 3rd. He does have a reasonably large army to do that. The risk is, of course, that he gets caught out of position and MMA is able to do a lot of damage. Although the amount of firepower that MC has at his disposal, that could make that a bit of a thorny prospect there for MMA.
And here's the strength now kicking in of MC's. We see, oh, hold that thought, there is a drop here. One Storm goes off, does enough damage here with a warped in Zealot. Should be able to do enough, but he isn't able to warp in anymore. He was actually supply blocked a little bit. Well, probes for Zealots, I suppose. There
is the quick cleanup there to finish that one off. Once again, more damage being done. Only about 5 workers actually killed. That's not something that's going to cripple MC, who already has a very significant probe lead, still has a very significant probe lead.
And as I was saying, MC's strength now is kicking in with the production available to him. He's going to be able to stay in the game, pressure his opponent, power forward, and that's what MMA's so strong at, is that he just has so many gateways and never really loses a fight, uses pylons in the center of the map to continue to reinforce. That drop on the right-hand side, trying to do a little bit of damage on that 3rd base. It's picked up immediately, 2 Marines there inside. Not really looking to do damage. It's more of a tickle, more of an annoyance for MC more than anything else.
Yeah, it's forcing MC to keep at least 1 unit there to deal with it. So his army outside is going to be slightly weaker. And MMA needs that edge at the moment. Got a nice spread on the tanks there, making his army particularly dangerous. Dark Templar gets a little bit of a wander in there. And hello, friends come right through the shrubberies there. And a few units torn apart there by MC.
MMA about to drop the main base here with 2 medivacs full. High Templar available. Is MC going to target down and feed back these? No, he doesn't, and MMA pulls off the successful drop, but MC doesn't care. He's trying to bust his opponent down.
He's trying to go through the line. Can he actually do that? The Immortal's not tanking the fire from the tanks there, but plenty of damage coming down. Those storms are absolutely massive. Zealots charging through them, actually taking a lot of damage in the process, but this big drop into the main continues to deal a huge amount of damage.
Oh, and MMA not using his units at all. They just get waypointed down and get picked off immediately.
Look at the size of that army. Look at it. That's absolutely massive. Tries to wall up, doesn't get it. The Zealots are now overrunning the natural expansion, and I don't see a way for MMA to actually get a large enough army to throw this back. Look at the amount of firepower that MC has at his disposal right now.
Yeah, and oh my god, with SCVs coming in, it's going to help a little bit, but there's still Storms available, and down goes Storms on the ramp, filtered units. The drop is now cleaned up in the main base as well. Perfect little engagement here for MC, knowing that if his opponent's going to drop with 3 medivacs, what does he not have, Total Biscuit? That is units on the ground.
Absolutely not. He was not able to resist, didn't have enough tanks, just didn't have a large enough army to stop that line-breaking force there from MC, who now decides to smartly retreat, a risk of getting those high-value units like that Immortal picked off as he tries to continue to do damage. Now we see MMA trying to stabilize, MC with a second warp in, awful lot of Archons coming in right there, and I'll tell you what, MMA does not have the firepower to bring that down.
Yeah, MMA's got pretty damn good upgrades, and that was kind of kept him alive here, but Archons and Storm, they don't care, man. They're just going to power through.
Yeah, upgrades do not matter in that scenario. There we see another couple of force fields cut a little bit of the army to pieces. The surgical approach right here of MC, taking the scalpel to the Slayer's player, and MMA drops below 60 supply right now. This last stand effort from this Force of Marina Marauder, extremely well microed up into that high ground position. The Storm cares not for your flippantry. There's the GG. And that is MC right back into the fight.
And MC back in 1-1 now on our first game here. And of course, this is the free game for you guys. If you're enjoying the MLG event, the scenery behind, MC's glasses and the way he flicks his wrist, then you guys definitely want to be getting that $20, of course, to pay for the event, just to witness more of this explosive StarCraft 2 action.
Yep, direct feed from inside MC's brain, also available via the TriView on pay-per-view. You can click on whatever stream you would like to see. MC's point of view, MMA's point of view, whichever one you would like. So many streams available. 11 in total. If you want to try and watch them all, you're going to need a lot of monitors, a lot of internet connections. But let's talk about that matchup because, my God, what a fantastic play there from MC. Goes for the Dark Templar Gambit, and it looks like initially it doesn't do the damage that's needed. Looks like it's going to get shut down. Fantastic little wall-off on the natural ramp there. Love that. Absolutely beautiful maneuver there by MMA, and he does a lot of damage to the natural. But what's going on in the background is that main mineral line is left completely untouched for over 3 minutes, which shows on the income tab that his income absolutely plummeted at that stage. It was brutal, and that gave MC the edge he needed.
JP, have any extra thoughts on that match? It's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it was all over the place. I love the fact that we get to see a third game, and the map is actually going to be Cloud Kingdom, a map that these two guys are very, very well versed on. But I mean, do you guys have a clear winner here in this map? I don't know who's going to win.
I don't know.
No.
The next map is Cloud Kingdom, so this can really go either way. We've seen a lot of different crazy styles within the GSL, especially between these two guys. We've seen third command centers come out to play, JP. We've seen explosive MC styles as well, where he goes crazy for early busts, whether it be a +2 armor Templar play, whether it be for immortal pushes. So very excited to see how this game goes. I think, though, with MC taking the second map, he may have the momentum to take the final game. Do you think so as well? Or?
I certainly think so. You don't mess around with MC, do you? JP, what do you think?
I don't know. You can never really count out MMA, and I gotta say MMA is gonna be the one to take it here. MC's a great player, but MMA's just got that star power.
All right, man. Well, let's see if that star power is gonna be enough to take this series. Last map, going to be Cloud Kingdom between these two guys. Just a best of 3. Loser will go down to the lower bracket. There is a low bracket. Double elimination within this tournament. Still has a chance to go through. But we will have somebody moving on to the round 2 of the winner bracket.
That we will. Some excellent respect, actually, between both of these players that we were seeing in the chat there. You most likely could have caught that on the point of view stream from either of those guys. We had MC calling MMA So Gosu and MMA claiming the Dark Templar Imber, and I can hardly blame him for that one. But it was just that single Dark Templar, wasn't it, that really made the difference. But